Yes, General?
Life's been easier since someone wiped us.
Oh, the stink.
Let's see. 3 bricks of spice out to Elysia, then with a turnaround. No, that won't work. Come act! Here so soon? I wasn't expecting you for... well, not now. Anyway. Yeah, well, I tried to explain that, you see, but, I had no choice. These thugs showed up, and they said that you could go space yourselves. And I was like, no, this is the Red Eclipse, and...
Kreia? Is something wrong?
Not as of yet.
Someone's trying to board...
Yes. What happens next is not our fight, and your first reaction will not serve us here. Let us see what the exile will do.
If they think I'm going to give up this ship without a fight, well, they're wrong. It's good to be back on the old girl. Hey, what are you doing on my ship? Damn right I am. What are you...
Dobry czubabasz, kiedy skala dorcza łata Tokioke nincha. Kuriko asotwaja je rinke free te de ducha or samba sugna kap. Reshunko, jova nincha chimba, taxi tre juju te juju.
More where that came from. Everyone. More where that came from. 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 Look, there's been a misunderstanding. The ship, it's all yours. Consider it a gift, all right? Didn't know you were messing with Red Eclipse slavers. Guess those stories about the Hawk being a cursed vessel are true. Hey, wait a minute, you can't do this!
Why are you here?
Because I told him everything.
Ah, and now you are free?
Yeah, so no more threats, no more of your requests. You and me, we're done.
Did you ever think I truly held you? You're more of a fool than I thought. What truly held you was you, and let me show you why. I once held the galaxy by the throat, as you once held her by the throat and let her die slowly. And your emotion at that point is what you fear. I wielded power like you cannot imagine. Everything I saw was awash with possibilities, spreading outwards, touching everything else. I saw all of that, all that the Force is. And only when it was ripped from me did I truly see it. And I know what lies buried within you, that you hide with your desperate thoughts, your guilt, your lusts. I can unlock that part of you anytime I wish. It is a simple thing, the human mind. Once it feels something strongly, it becomes etched in the memory, the subconscious. Shall I show you? That part of you that hungered to kill Jedi, that took pleasure from it? Or perhaps you will continue to listen to my counsel, and I shall ignore your pathetic attempts at freedom. Now leave me, murderer. I have nothing further to say to one such as you.
Having you here has an effect on me, General. I never noticed it years ago. I think my mind was too occupied then. I feel calm, more in control. The anger is still there, but I can feel it drifting away. The last years of my life have been defined by it. The Mandalorians, Zerka, and Revan. And above all else, myself, for Malachor. Never, General. It had to be done. My hands destroyed the Mandalorians. I cannot be forgiven for that. Even if I did it out of hatred of the Mandalorians. My feelings are bad enough without having to worry about Jedi problems. My anger is nothing compared to the blood on my hands. Even if there isn't, I still feel like I need to do something to make up for it. Under your guidance, I feel like I could overcome my anger.
Yes? I think you are ready for the final tier I wish to teach. You have made much progress. For this you may use any melee weapon and any shields you possess, but nothing else. No Jedi saber, and no other items. We shall begin this final lesson then. Atris was correct about you. You know war, its motions and currents. There is nothing more I can teach you. I have already learned much of your styles and combat. There is no need to know more. Combat among the Ichani is a personal thing. Repeated duels are not what they are in other cultures, and I would rather that this not become more than it is. And I have taken an oath to Atris against studying from a Jedi, or anything of the Jedi teachings. What I desire is of no importance. My father broke his oaths. He shamed us all. I do not wish to follow his path. I swore not to follow his path. If I were to follow a Jedi against Atris's wishes, then I would be betraying her for you. This is a difficult thing for me to say, but I ask that you be silent as I tell you this. It is my desire to learn from you what you can teach me of battle. I have already learned much in our duels, but with every battle, I wish to know more of you. Your stance, your movements, I can sense shades of meaning and an echo of something I have yet to experience. Atris said that you were the only Jedi to have survived the Mandalorian Wars, that you had stared into the heart of war and only turned away because you were forced to. I do not believe her. I believe that you made a choice, as my father did, and that is important to me, more than you know. And you are important to me more than you know. I will accept whatever you wish to teach me, though it breaks my oath to Atris. What of her? As I said, I knew little about her. This is already known to me. Why are you telling me this? I think I have always known this. It has always been in my thoughts. As I followed Atris, perhaps what I wished to follow was the call of my bloodline, of my mother. I have felt incomplete, hollow since her loss at Malachor 5. And with your help, perhaps this wound might be healed.
And so it ends.
I want you to teach me the ways of the Force, to become a Jedi Knight like my mother. That is all I wish. I want to feel what my mother felt for my father, what ran through my mother's veins when she was one with the Force. I wish to hear what my mother heard as she fought the Mandalorians until the moment she died on Malachor 5. I will not let you down, Exile. I will honor you as I honor the face of my mother.
Betrayal. Betrayal.
Betrayal?
Mistress?
She has betrayed me. The last of your sisters has betrayed me. Betrayed us. She is your sister no more. She does not travel with the exile. Instead, she has chosen to walk the path of the Jedi.
Mistress, forgive us, but are you certain? She would not forsake her oath so lightly.
It is the truth, and it is done. Do you doubt me?
No, mistress. It is you who saved the Jedi upon Dantooine, who have collected their knowledge and hid it here to protect it.
But why? How did she fall? It is a sign of his corruption, and perhaps hers as well. He will train her, and she will be flawed.
Not since Malachor. It is always in my dreams. I remember the ships, the last stand of the Republic. The tattered remnants of our fleet, the largest we could gather. But it was damaged, weakened, and vulnerable. The Mandalorians couldn't resist. They tore into us like beasts, shredding our ships to scrap as we fought back. Yet this time there were no reinforcements for either side. Revan had been delayed out-system by Mandalorian scout ships. By the time she arrived, it was too late. And beyond Malachor, there were no more Mandalorians left to die. I remember standing on the bridge with you and watching the destruction of the Republic, watching ships full of soldiers and Jedi burn and die. I remember the look you had when you turned to me. It was the longest you'd ever looked at me. You didn't say anything, just a nod. Events moved quickly then, even in my dreams. Flashes, explosions, you falling. I could feel the pain around me. And then the memory, the drifting hulks of the Mandalorian ships, the dead, allies, friends, strangers. And then the echo, lingering, the sound I awakened to in my nightmares. Glorious? It was nothing more than a slaughter caused by one of my creations. Blame lies with me for creating it. The situation forced your hand. Anger forced mine. You realized that unless action was taken, the fleet would be destroyed and the Republic would fall. None of us realized the magnitude of what we unleashed.
What do you want? Already gave you my last one. Now is there something else you needed?
Yes? Ask. He, if he can truly be called a man any longer, is one of the dark lords that pursues you. I do not think he knows what you are. Not yet. He spared the Miraluka, and that may have been the last shred of feeling that exists within him. Keep his slave close to you. I suspect there was a reason he spared her, and perhaps a reason that she survived when the rest of her people and the Jedi did not. One cannot have power of that magnitude that her master possesses and still think and perceive the universe as we do, as most of us do. I had hoped that you would not have to confront him, but her presence here has changed all that. You will have to meet him in battle. You must be prepared to sacrifice the Blinded One. Perhaps her death will buy you the time you need to deal with her master. If you have such power, then I would make use of it. There is no need to dirty your hands when you can convince another to drive a blade into their own heart. Oh, you have promise. But wait until you have more years fall upon you, and you will see what a shell your heart will become. It is a technique that is almost as old as the Sith themselves. It is a means of severing connections between life, the Force, and feeding upon the death it causes. It cannot be taught. It can only be gained through instinct, through experiencing its effects firsthand. Yes, and he fed upon its destruction. It will sustain him for a time. Because it is not something that can ever truly be controlled, and it leaves nothing to conquer in its wake. And it rules him, not the other way around. It has its own will, its own instincts. Perhaps he is bound to her, as I am bound to you. If so, there may be a death served by hers. You must be prepared to sacrifice the Blinded One. Perhaps her death will buy you the time you need to deal with her master. Yes? Ask. Does it matter? Perhaps I am neither. What do you wish to hear? That I once believed in the code of the Jedi? That I felt the call of the Sith? That perhaps once I held the galaxy by its throat? That for every good work that I did, I brought equal harm upon the galaxy? That perhaps what the greatest of the Sith Lords knew of evil they learned from me? What would it matter now? There is only so much comfort in knowing such things, and it is not who I am now. Learn from me, my mistakes, and use that knowledge to become greater than I. That is all I ask of you, and that is all I desire. In you all my hopes rest, for the future, for the Force. If it means so much to you, then this I swear to you upon my life, upon our lives, that when your training is complete, I will answer everything. There shall be no more shadows between us, only truth that exists between master and apprentice. Yes?
for yours. I am prepared for whatever you wish to teach me. I understand now. I shall practice what you have taught me. My life for yours. I will answer what I can, but my answers may prove useless to you. It is not a subject which I have spoken of since its destruction. I've heard tales of Malachor. It is said that many of my people felt the end of the Mandalorian Wars from across the galaxy. But do not mistake me. I did not mean to draw comparisons between Kotor and Malachor. My homeworld still exists. It is intact. I am not certain I did. I was there when the planet died. To see everything around you extinguished. It was as if I was blinded. It was as if the Force had been bled from the world. I imagine there are worse deaths, worse pain. But if there are, I do not know them. I was the only living thing remaining on the planet of Kotor. And my life, my agony, was a flicker in the darkness that was the planet. All that I had been connected to had been severed. Yes, but it was not survival. I still wonder what would have happened if I had died with the others. If perhaps there would have been some way to hide my presence from the galaxy. If only I had not felt that pain, that loss, as strongly as I did. But it could not be done. When the life was bled from the planet, and yet somehow I remained, my master came for me. He walked upon the surface of my dead world, and there, lying in the bodies of my race, he took me for his own, and he made me see. And for the first time I saw the galaxy, and I wished to die. To this galaxy, my world, absent the currents and spectrums of the Force, was nothing but crude matter, rock, flesh, emptiness. He showed the flickering of life on other planets. The mass of beings that swarm through the empty places of the galaxy. To see such creatures, disconnected from themselves, their world, their place in it, unable to see the currents and how they affected everything around them. He showed me to make me believe in his cause. He convinced me the galaxy, all life, must die. He fed upon its ugliness, its screaming, and in its place, he left silence. And where there was chaos, he brought stillness and order. It was not a thing done with machines or weapons. The Force is far more terrible, and it touches more lives than any machine can hope to slay. For everyone that feels the Force, strongly, deeply, each one feels and perceives it in their own way. You have strengths, whether you know it or not, and my master has his. His power is great, and it comes from hunger. He is a wound in the Force, more presence than flesh. And in his wake, life dies, sacrificing itself to his hunger. And those who feel the Force strongly are beacons to his hunger. My people, my planet, would have been attacked in time. It was inevitable. Yet we could do nothing about it. The Jedi, the last council of the Jedi, came to our world to meet in secret. They hoped that perhaps among our people, they could achieve the clarity to see what was striking them from the darkness of the galaxy. They succeeded, but only in bringing him from the outer regions. And Kotor, with my kind, with the Jedi upon its surface, could no longer be ignored. And my people died, and the Jedi died, and there was no one left. Only me. They hoped to see the threat that had been stalking them, and they did. But they were unprepared for the magnitude of the threat. He cannot deny his hunger for long, and any gathering of Jedi is something he cannot long resist. And now that the Jedi are vanishing, I do not know what will happen. Perhaps he will grow strong enough to eradicate all life, merely with his presence. I will answer what I can. I am not familiar with the place you speak of. My master has not entered Republic space for some time, but there are others who may move more freely, who may have been responsible for such an act of destruction. There are many factions within the Sith, all seeking to take what little remains in the wake of the Jedi Civil War. Where one moves, it is not always known to the others. But their purpose is the same: the death of all Jedi, everywhere. They believe you are the last of the Jedi, and their hatred of the Jedi unites them. All their eyes are upon you, and it is a terrible, quiet darkness that pursues you. I will answer what I can. My life. I will... My people once had the power to perceive events, to see through the Force. That sight may manifest itself in many ways, and at times, I may affect the abilities of others to see as well. My sight has been damaged. What I have taught you, it is not the full extent of the perceptions of my people. My master, when he showed me my world, showed it to me as it is. It hurt. And since that moment, it has been difficult to perceive the Force as I once did. But after traveling with you, I feel that perhaps there was a gift in it, hidden beneath the pain. Only when one suffers do certain truths become evident, both of the galaxy and of the self. And I feel you are an example of this. If you wish to know, perhaps it is possible to show another what my people see, what I see. First, you must close your eyes. The surface of the ship, its sights, will only be a distraction. Now, in your mind, reach out. Listen for my breathing. Do not focus on the sound, but the life behind it. Imagine its energy, its texture, in tandem with the breathing. And then in your mind, step back from the image and see what remains. There. It is not as difficult as I thought. You learn quickly. It will take effort to maintain such sight, but you now have that power, and with it you can use it to see life around you in a different way, as I used to see it.
Yes, General?
Query, is there someone that you need killed, Master? Statement. Observation. Well, Master, I was not at Malachor 5 during your near-genocidal reaction to the Mandalorian threat, but I feel that I may have been constructed as a result of that. Observation. I believe that Revan determined that mass slaughter on such a scale may no longer be needed to achieve her aims. So perhaps you are responsible for my creation. Answer. Oh, please, Master. Even as a metaphor, that idea is repugnant. You are a gland-driven meatbag, while I am of superior droid construction. Clarification. I meant that I was built as a result of the need for a selective killing machine, rather than a crude mass slaughter war droid. Answer: no, Master. I was constructed shortly after the beginning of the Jedi Civil War. Answer: well, Master, unless you were operating on my central control cluster, I would be somewhat hesitant to discuss my targets, but I suppose it could do no harm. During the Jedi Civil War, I was responsible for certain strategic targets. For some reason, Revan did not feel that the Republic presented much of a military threat. Aside, I am somewhat unclear as to why this was so, but Revan did have a certain biological instinct regarding such things, so I will simply say that there were probably reasons for such an assessment. Answer: Revan felt the true war was against the Jedi. Observation: it was not something discussed with much of the others, but I think Revan recognized that a single Jedi, both in the past and in the present, could turn the tide of a conflict. So my targets were frequently Jedi, or someone close to a Jedi that could result in their corruption or collapse. Revan often assigned me to kill leaders or supporters of certain Jedi so as to erode their will. Answer: Revan saw the pressures of war on Duxon and knew that even in the heat of conflict, Jedi could be broken, not physically, but psychologically. Observation: it is a curious thing to assassinate and wound someone's personality, to assassinate them psychologically, and it took me some time to reconcile the acts. I am much more used to their direct approach. Still, I served well and killed many Jedi. Observation: Master, that was the lesson of Malachor. Any Jedi involved in the systematic slaughter on such a scale cannot help but doubt and question themselves. Observation: Master, I do not believe that the Mandalorians were the true target at Malachor. I believe that the intention was to destroy the Jedi, break their will, and make them loyal to Revan. I do not know if you examined the records of the deaths on Malachor, but you cannot escape that many of the Jedi and Republic soldiers who died were not Revan's strongest supporters. Observation: I believe that Revan was cleaning house at Malachor 5. What ones did not die became Revan's allies against the Republic. Answer: Master, I think that should wait until I am certain of your allegiance and your intentions toward me and the galaxy. I mean, to simply give away trade secrets in such a way, it would be an insult to my protocols. Observation: Master. Observation: Master, I do not know if you examined the records of the deaths on Malachor. Observation. Answer: oh, yes, Master. I hope none of them were friends of yours, but really, they had it coming. I do not know when the Jedi ceased to be adherents to their code, but many did not tread cautiously, and many were quite arrogant when facing a droid, as if we were somehow beneath them. It gave certain kills an added pleasure when being underestimated. Cautionary: Master, don't take this the wrong way, but in my opinion, a blaster shot to the throat is often the best way of silencing Jedi hypocrisy. I have found many Jedi to be arrogant practitioners of pacifism when it is convenient for them. Also, their tendency to never directly answer a question is rather annoying. Statement: I do not have the exact counts, Master. Since it is difficult to determine who was a Jedi and who was not, it seemed to be largely a matter of perspective. I did kill many soldiers who used techniques in combat that could make them be considered Jedi, although they call themselves Sith.
Yes? There is nothing more I can teach you. You may ask.
Yes? Yes? Ask. Have you never asked yourself how Revan took the Republic and Jedi beneath her? How she made them hers? Ah, but to make officers turn on their own people, to bomb innocent worlds, to make pacts. Strong influence, indeed. And where did these Sith teachings come from? And why did Revan embrace them so strongly? So many questions, yet the answers are few. Oh, did they? No, Revan met no Sith empire, yet she learned their teachings. Many have mistaken the soldiers beneath Revan, the machines that were constructed to be the Sith. They are wrong. The Sith is a belief, and what Revan formed was not an empire, but something else. Yet how she did it is curious. And I suspect the answer to that question is tied to another. How was Revan able to corrupt so many so quickly? Not a one. But we shall see where our journey takes us, I think, and see how many answers we come across, yes? Ask. Perhaps I think it is fair to say that few did. Revan had a mother and father, parents, ancestors, like all Jedi do, and when she awakened to her potential, I was there to see it. But where she was born, where she came from, I do not know, any more than I know where she walks now. Some said that Revan was born in the outer regions, beyond the Rim, and that's what called to her during the Mandalorian Wars. And after, it was the call of home. I know more, but it may not be enough for the answers you seek. Fall. Ah, already you presume much. You were there at Malachor. Revan's choices were always her own. It was not teaching or circumstance or example. It was her. Is that what she was? Or was she always true to herself, no matter what personality she wore? And there is something that the Council may never understand, that perhaps Revan never fell. The difference between a fall and a sacrifice is sometimes difficult, but I feel that Revan understood that difference more than anyone knew. The galaxy would have fallen if Revan had not gone to war. Perhaps she became the Dark Lord out of necessity to prevent a greater evil. I do not believe the Jedi Council changed Revan as they claimed. They merely stripped away the surface and allowed the true self to emerge again, someone who was willing to wage war to save others. But that is my belief, since I knew Revan from long ago, as a master knows their apprentice. She came to me. Yes, both before and after. Before Revan knew herself. And after, in the times when Revan was coming into her own and learning she was more than she had been told. At one time, Revan was my Padawan, in times past long ago. But Revan, when she had learned all she could, had other masters, that fool Jar and other Jedi on other planets. She learned from each, but in the end, she turned back to me. When she realized there was nothing more to be learned from the Jedi, except how one could leave them forever. Revan was power. It was like staring into the heart of the Force. Even then you could see the Jedi she would slay etched on her soul. You are different. When I look at you, it is like staring at the death of the Force. I know more. Fall. You were there at Malachor. Revan's choices were always her own. It was not teaching or circumstance. Is that what she was? And there is something that the Council may never understand. The difference between a fall and a sacrifice. The galaxy would have fallen if Revan had not gone to war. I do not believe the Jedi Council changed Revan, but that is my belief. She came to me, and after, but Yes?
Something up? Alright, I'm game. What did you want to show me? Alright, I think I've got it. I'll try to practice it when I get the chance. Something up? I didn't know this training thing was going to be so much work. Alright, I think I've got it. Something up? Alright. We just got this message on the comlink. Looks like trouble. I think this is something everyone will want to hear. The droid's the one who picked up the message. He's got it all ready to display. Well, good thing it's not a trap.
What are you talking about? It's obviously a trap.
Could you please lighten up for 1 second?
It may be a trap, but traps work both ways. This Visquis, his kind is spread through the lower reaches of Nar Shaddaa, and he may have information. But the choice is yours. If you go, you will have to go alone.
It's just off the docks, near one of the far traffic pylons. He's got you at a disadvantage there, though. The place is filled with cyanogen gas. One whiff of that and it'll be the last breath you take. You'll need something to allow you to breathe there, and disguise you from the other patrons. You're right. Without breathing and skin protection, you'll be dead in seconds. Besides, you'll need a full bodysuit if you want to remain disguised. Like I said, a human walking around in there isn't gonna get a warm reception. No droids either. There's a lot of electromagnetic activity in the area. Screws with comlinks and behavior cores. Don't be surprised if your auto map starts showing static either. Well, I wouldn't keep him waiting. If you got his attention, you probably attracted the attention of someone else.
Taranamo Sibu and Dasarans, Krema Sunkun Ratungala, Chawi Mo Jubu and Kosoracha. Moka Kamaran and Doso ran with no Chabi. Du Rantamana Sobu. Taranamo Sibu and Dasarans, Krema Sunkun Ratungala, Chawi Mo Jubu and Kosoracha. Moka Kamaran and Doso ran with no Chabi. Du Rantamana Sobu. Taranamo Sibu and Dasarans, Krema Sunkun Ratungala, Chawi Mo Jubu and Kosoracha. Donos Emeragith, Wanarakorachi Drumka sa Inchobin Sasha. Dosimana Rachata. Moka Kamaran and Doso ran with no Chabi. Du Rantamana Sobu. Moka Kamaran and Doso ran with no Chabi. Du Rantamana Sobu. Taranamo Sibu and Dasarans, Krema Sunkun Ratungala, Chawi Mo Jubu and Kosoracha. Donos Emeragith, Wanarakorachi Drumka sa Inchobin Sasha. Dosimana Rachata. Moka Kamaran and Doso ran with no Chabi. Du Rantamana Sobu. Moka Kamaran and Doso ran with no Chabi. Du Rantamana Sobu. Taranamo Sibu and Dasarans, Krema Sunkun Ratungala, Chawi Mo Jubu and Kosoracha.